In chapter 2, we said how if the consumer's income changes, that's going to cause a shift in the demand curve. So we're going to see now what that actually means and why it happens. So what happens to the consumer's opportunity set if their income increases? So by opportunity set, we mean the set of bundles that they have the opportunity to consume. Well, the budget line is going to shift outwards. So let's suppose the price of good 1 and good 2 are both 1. Then the budget line is going to have slope of -1. If we've just varied the income, the slope is not going to change. It's just that the intercepts are going to change. And the higher the income, the further out the budget line is going to be. So at the income of 6, we've got this low budget line. At income of 10, we've got this budget line here. And at the income of 14, we've got this high budget line. So as we increase the consumer's budget, or their income, the budget line is going to move in this direction. As the consumer's income increases, we can look at what bundle they pick at every possible income. So perhaps when their income is only 6, they pick this bundle right here on the indifference curve I1. But as we increase their income to 10, they can now afford a better bundle, so they pick this bundle. And when their income increases to 14, they pick this bundle. Now we could do that at all possible income levels, and then trace out the curve through all the bundles that they would pick for various income levels. That's called the income consumption curve. Now, each of these income levels is going to describe a different demand curve. Remember, the demand curve tells us how price of the good and quantity demanded relate to one another, holding fixed things like income and prices of other goods. So for each possible income level, we're going to get a different demand curve. For example, for the income level 6, we're going to get one demand curve. For the income level 10, we're going to get a different demand curve. And for the income level 14, we're going to get a third demand curve. Of course, for every other income level, so for 15 or 11 or 3, you'd get yet another demand curve. Now, instead of plotting on the vertical axis, instead of having the price, we could have plotted the income level and written down just one curve, which would give us what's called the Engel curve. So we're going to put on the vertical axis the consumer's income and the quantity on the horizontal axis. So this is kind of the counterpart of the demand curve. So demand curve gives us the relationship between price and quantity, holding fixed everything else, including income. The Engel curve gives us the relationship between income and quantity, holding fixed everything else, like the price. So for every possible income level, we look at the quantity that the consumer would consume, and we draw a curve through that. So for example, remember that the budget line for the income of 6 was given by this one, and at that income level, the consumer chose this bundle. So this is the quantity that the consumer chose to consume of good 1. So they choose this quantity at income level 6, so we get this point on our Engel curve. Similarly, when their income is 10, this is their budget line, and they choose to consume this quantity of good 1, so we put this point on our Engel curve, and similarly for this point. We do that for all possible income levels, not just 6, 10, and 14. We do it for every possible income level, and that gives us this curve, which we call the Engel curve. Again, it's the counterpart of the demand curve, where instead of talking about the relationship between price and quantity, we talk about the relationship between income and quantity.